Welcome to the Daily Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev, where we explore and share stories of the best game you can. Stay tuned for today's episode. Good morning, Overload Nation. Adrian here, and I'm talking with Josef Martinovsky to talk about their latest game, The Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human. Josef, Chris, tell us about yourselves first.
Yeah, we're from Gothenburg, Sweden, and we're pretty new to the whole game industry, actually. And we were studying up there. We studied there for 3 years.
Yeah, we both lived in Gothenburg before, but we didn't know. We became good friends, and after we studied, ended up living together, and we made games.
We were working just during a weekend. We were drinking some beers, and then that's how we pretty much got together and decided let's make games together.
Yeah. Decided to make something bigger and better together.
Yeah, we liked working together, and we both had the same goal on what we wanted to do with our life.
Keep Walking, was that part of a game jam? Because you said over the weekend.
No, it was just for fun.
It was like two-person game jam.
Yeah.
How long did you start on the Aquatic Adventure of the Last Human?
7 months ago?
Yeah, I think it started in November.
Yeah, November. It was a lot of holidays, and we were doing stuff. So
we say about 7 months I've been working on this game.
That's pretty nice, because it looks like the game itself. Now, I like it. There's a few questions I have with it, because I don't understand why there's a flying submarine in general. In 200 or 300 years from now, and then you go into the little like dark hole or so, you go back to Earth. Like, what's the plot all about? What happens?
You discover while you're actually in the submarine. Think about what happened to people to have to send out a spaceship into this hole, into this wormhole. Yeah, Planet of the Apes. Interstellar.
Yeah.
Like time, it changed the whole thing with time and in there, and so that's why time speeds up.
Yeah, I noticed that because it was like a moment in and out, and then a bajillion years later, and it reminded me of Yes, and it kind of also felt like not Inception, but in the opposite way instead. So instead of going slow, but going fast.
I mean, what we're seeing in the future, ships won't be just used for one thing. You're trying to make something versatile, so it's more than one thing. But our original idea was that it is just a spaceship parts, and the only thing it can do was be a submarine. So we were like,
yeah,
that's smart.
We figured if the Earth would be like a disc and start going around, but now it's adapted to become a submarine.
It's very nice. Well, I like it, and there's some human infrastructure right there. So somehow that lasted millions of years. So that's a bit of a.
They could have died before those millions, and it just lasted. Whatever material they built it out of is still there.
Well, yeah. Slow down its decay.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but yeah.
I don't think we're going for super realism. But the buildings are there, and there are lots of fish everywhere. That's
And so you're playing a submarine as a 2D and with some shooting mechanics and puzzle mechanics in there.
Yeah. So it's action adventure. That's what we're.
I just like submarines in general because it's underwater and it's like a whole new world. And the game kind of reminds me of the Life Aquatic, and there's another one with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Another film, 2004, kind of like the spin on Moby Dick but underwater and stuff. Yeah.
Huge inspiration for the game.
Yeah, had a Life Aquatic than a much longer name.
Yeah, with Steve Zissou.
That's it.
Yeah.
That reminded me of a game that I made about 2 years ago, which was a submarine, but it was more of a auto runner, and you just avoided mines and. But one thing I liked about this game was the art. It looked stylized and yet nicely simple. And the submarine, thankfully, which I'll get on to in a moment, it wasn't always insta-kill unless you got hit by the sewage, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Progression, and there's a lot more puzzles and a lot more complexity to the level than what we just saw in the demo. But one thing I found a bit odd though is you get the half per 1. Did you forget about the difficulty curve? 2, you really put Dark Souls to shame. And it doesn't happen very often.
We just want to put you into the game immediately.
We wanted to
not beat around the bush.
There are no basic enemies in the game. So that's what we wanted to. As soon as you get the weapon, you want something to shoot at. And we also want to like tell the base and try to kill you, and you have to like shoot them fast and take them down.
And we wanted to make it clear, like how we are.
Yeah.
So that's because the only thing that you can actually hurt, or you can hurt a lot of things, but with the, like going after you and trying to kill you.
Yeah. That explains a lot. Cause I think I saw some pictures where smaller animals, like, correct me if I'm wrong, sharks. I remember seeing something about that. Yeah. And I just thought there'll be generic enemy
in the game, which consists of a big show of sharks and one big shark that's like hunting the other sharks. So that's this much.
Oh, I see.
The boss becomes like this like ecosystem of sharks.
So what can you tell space in the first place and why it returns and stuff like that? You say that the player has to find out for themselves and they have to explore the game?
Well, you won't be getting the story from those. Like, if you just read those, you won't understand what's happened. But if you look around in the background, how the whole world is set up, because nothing is random. We placed everything out so exactly the way we wanted.
Oh, I see.
You can do like some basic stuff. It's the submarine, the spaceship submarine. The future for Earth wasn't like find new planets and such, but we want the players to like make their own reason for everything.
Well, like, people have been trying to make the world a better place all the time. That's I don't know, like I don't want to get just moving forward, because in the way that we build time is that the further down things are, the more in the past they've been, always moving up. So that becomes like the most futuristic. But like these are things we don't want to be able to tell them.
Oh, interesting. So it's purely just through visual storytelling.
Yeah, pretty much.
And very minimal, like spoon. Yeah. You just discover it for yourself. That's interesting.
Oh, we have course that like gives you some leads on
explain without text. Like if we show something they're mining something, we can't really show you exactly what they're mining. Thinking about it, it's like it's putting the salt into the food.
I get you. So you're hinting. Otherwise, the player might lose the plot.
Yeah, I think that it might just get too convoluted and just be lost.
Yeah, exactly. And they just take it as background art and just take it for granted.
Yeah.
And because there's Easter eggs, maybe, and here's that one off the top of my head, like you'll find Stonehenge at the very bottom or something.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be Easter eggs.
Enjoy like finding them, and some are vague,
very vague,
some are quite vague. So there's going to be Easter eggs.
How about promoting the game?
We sent out letters to journalists and YouTubers and Twitter, Facebook, but we're not really that good at it.
None of us had used Twitter before we started like making. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so.
You're the one who's the best at Twitter of us. Yeah. And we have a Kickstarter campaign.
Including getting like funding, but it gets the word out and people are interested in seeing what new projects there are.
That's understandable. The first 18 minutes of the game, did you want the player to feel that they've come to a complete different world, or a foreign Earth that was totally lost and totally unrecognizable, or maybe just to a foreign?
We wanted to give like the ruins feel that then there's not going to be any humans.
Yeah.
But we wanted the players to see. And did something happen to?
Are you getting this?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, keep going.
There's a lot of fish, and you see that wildlife is thriving on Earth, even though the humans aren't there. Maybe even better than
another thing that you said. We want it to be recognizable, but different.
Yeah, absolutely not a dead world.
No.
Very much
living, very much. Like it tells, we had the little cutscene that you were asking about earlier. Like when you fly out from space and you come back, you get to see this modern architecture, like these tubes and this world where they've been setting up some kind of space station there. In minutes, maybe you'll die a bunch there. So we wanted you to get the setting and the first boss, the first weapon that you'll be using for the first 18 minutes.
And also the audio log. No, you're not saying audio.
Yeah.
The whole tape and some hazards like a class.
That really You really did it. You really got to the point. Even, I think, because before you get the harpoon, subtly introduced the idea that the paths spread out and diverge.
Yeah.
And this is also noticed after you defeat the worm ways to go.
Yeah, after you defeat the worm, that like you have you backtrack there. We did that on purpose.
Yeah.
So that once you get the weapon, now you know, you have to get the windmill spinning to open things.
Yeah, and then the game starts.
Yeah, and exactly. We'll have immediately 2 paths you can go.
Okay. So tell me, Christopher and Joseph, what was the...
I think marketing for us has been a huge thing. That was something, when we started to work on the game, we didn't even consider that. We have to make a giant squid, we have to do this, we have to do this. And then suddenly we realized that nobody knows that we're working on it. So we had to like get out there and talk about it and harass journalists. And then also we started a company with this studio. That has also been very, very new to us. And we learned a lot.
Yeah, I hear that as regards to marketing and probably business in general is persistence, keeping at it and not giving up and never give up. Because one day that email that you thought they didn't read, they could have, but didn't reply.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very true. But like game development wise, I'm not sure at the end. But it always feels like the latest thing I learned was the biggest thing. So like the latest thing, then I feel like I learned something. But it's hard to put a finger on like the big thing, one big thing.
I don't really have.
What was that light bulb moment where you saw the game all come together? It went from pen and paper to PC.
I never had that pen and paper thing, really. Except for we put up the whole story and the whole in the living room.
Yeah, with Post-it.
Yeah, we just like put it up all together, and then we saw like, all right, this is what the level's gonna look like. Can we do this?
Early in development, we made the water in the game. It's like some pixels floating around in the background, and you don't really notice it.
Yeah. And
I remember when we got the water to look nice the first time. That was like, cool, this game is gonna look good.
Yeah, I think it was.
So, what was the most difficult thing you had to overcome while working on the game?
Yeah, the biggest thing I learned, Christian, every time I fix something, sometimes it's like, this game we're not going to be able to make it work and this doesn't work. And then suddenly, we solve it and we move on. And that's like every time. So I'd say that the most difficult thing was for me as a programmer, when it's so heavy on the CPU that you couldn't play the game almost for a while. And then I fixed it, and I was super happy.
That's cool.
To that, what was the happiest moment while working on the game? Maybe some code worked unexpectedly, or a reviewer or journalist replied.
Maybe when we got greenlit.
Yeah, that was
really cool. Funding a Kickstarter.
How long? Something. It was like at 80%, and it wasn't looking like we were gonna make it. But then suddenly, batteries dropped in. Yeah, and also all the like praise we've gotten for the game. Yeah. People really seem to like it.
Yeah,
that's very
happening.
Yeah,
that's not like the moment.
Yeah, but I think Kickstarter and Greenlight.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get greenlit?
9 days. Yeah.
9. Oh, that's very short. Not long at all.
That was a big surprise.
Yeah, it was very surprising.
I remember when we put it up on Greenlight, it was like, we gotta know, like, happy year, maybe we can...
Exactly. It'll eventually happen.
But then people just the Kickstarter and the Greenlight at the same time.
Yeah, I'd say that helps a lot.
Yeah, that helps, because the Kickstarter helps the Greenlight campaign, and the Greenlight campaign helps the Kickstarter.
They support themselves and lean on each other. How so exactly? Is it just like this perfect storm of marketing, and there's so many
people on like that look for Kickstarter projects, like journalists, they see it and they write about it, and then maybe some people who read their journal upvote it, and then people notice that people are upvoting a game, and they look there, and then on Steam there's a little bar, and you just kind of like
cross promote.
Yeah, cross promote.
Oh, very nice, very clever. That's something worth. I think that's something worthwhile marketing. Just have it on Kickstarter as you have it on Greenlight as well.
Yeah, because then it's new on Greenlight.
Yeah, exactly. It gets a lot of. But once it gets greenlit, it's not on the page anymore, like on the featured page. So people don't get to see it as much. So we notice no one's seeing it anymore.
Yeah.
But it still works. So
it might have been better for the Kickstarter campaign if we didn't get greenlit so fast.
Yeah, that's just speculation.
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe it's things worth considering, especially having both at the same time. What is the best game dev related book, lecture, or learning resource that you can recommend?
I'd say all over, just search for game design. There's a ton of different people.
Especially with GameMaker, since we're making this.
Yeah, we're working with GameMaker. We both studied game design, and we read a lot of game design books.
Yeah.
But I'd say there's so much better information on the internet, and you will find someone.
Or Google it, yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. Definitely on YouTube. You could search almost any topic on there and you can find loads of tutorials. At least the information what matters.
Yeah.
But what's also really annoying at times is that your answer is, say, 5-10 seconds, and there could be a video on there. Please, I know what I need. I know what I came here for. Just tell me that one bit of nugget, and then I can go. Thumbs up and leave, whatever.
Yeah, and it's been a huge help. Just look there. There's always someone who has had the exact problem as you had.
The closest I've got to it generally was Construct 2. I've also seen it once or twice briefly, and maybe opened it once or twice, but
you have GML, which is like its own language.
Yeah, GameMaker language. It's a little bit. It's based on C++. It's based on C++. It's very much like C++ in the syntax, but it's got tons and tons of. But you still have to write codes. It's not like.
Drag and drop,
So
very nice.
Yeah, files. It can be a bit overwhelming to make a huge project with GameMaker, but it's still a little with it, and we can make a game with it.
Yeah.
So I really like GameMaker, and I recommend it to everyone who wants to get into game programming.
What is the best game dev related advice you ever received?
Well, for me, I got an artist that really work on the animations. Just that's what matters. It matters a lot, and put a lot of time into the things that people will be seeing a lot.
Yeah, because it's more important with a nice looking animation than a nice looking sprite.
Yeah.
I think. If it's well, then it will look weird and ugly.
A lot of I'm not a good artist really. I just kind of do my thing, and
you're a good artist.
I'm people who are just incredible at drawing and pixel art and everything. But a lot of times the animations are kind of stale, or in their games, the animations are really that's something that
the animations are really
should be important.
And a good example of that is the game Thomas Was Alone, if you've heard about that one.
Yeah. It's just, everything just feels like it's living, even though there's nothing there.
The best animated boxes.
Yeah.
In games.
One games where the animations don't quite work, and it's not, it kind of breaks the realism or breaks the imagery and the illusion of it. 2, that is amazing to hear as an animator, really encouraging to know that we have a increasingly predominant role and we aren't just making things move and making things not static, otherwise it's T-poses everywhere. And I agree. When I think of sprite games that have good animations, what comes to mind straight away is Metal Slug. Have you ever played any of them? That's what came to mind straight away. And I know what you mean. Wow, yeah. And focus on the art, I agree, because storytelling or the emotion behind it all is a visual art form, an art form, and it's visual. You predominantly focus on art. Wow, yeah, I agree. And what was the best game development purchase or
insane? And I've been making a lot of games with it. I just recommend GameMaker to almost everyone. Unless I'm not working for you yet. But yeah, it's great. That's my best purchase.
Okay.
I used a stationary computer before, and with the laptop, you can just go to game jams and development.
Yeah, that's what I'm using now, and yeah, you just take it anywhere, and there's your computer right there. It's really good. It's graphics, as long as it just performs well.
Yeah.
And it's right there. Turn it off, fold it, take it elsewhere, and boom, there you go. And it comes to game jams as well.
Yeah.
Open up the software, and what do we need animating?
Exactly.
And last question: identical world, where your skills are the same, but your food and shelter taken care of. All you had was £500.
This question is very funny for us, because that's pretty much how we are working.
Exactly. You kind of explained how since we haven't released our first game yet, so we don't have that much money, and I think we probably have less than £500.
But still,
and we both use laptops.
Yeah,
so.
We have our laptops and some pocket money.
Yeah, and we work in the kitchen.
In this scenario, you're actually better off.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh wow, that really turned it on its head.
I think that probably does the answer.
Well, certainly a bit to celebrate Kickstarter, and then, well, greenlight first, then Kickstarter. But beyond all that, Joseph and Christopher, that's all we have time for.
All right. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much.
See you all round.
See you
too.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Daily Dev Talk with me, Adrian Nantchev. If you want to share your experiences and stories, then contact me at info@gameoverload.co.uk. That's info@gameoverload.co.uk.